How juicy we going? Yeah. Mic check, 1, 2. I want to welcome everybody to a real show. You know, this is a real show tonight. So I want you to go ahead, just hold tight. We getting things together. You already know tonight's topic is going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. So just hold tight, y'all. We coming right back. Let me just see here. We coming right back. All right. There was 2 seconds. We're coming right back. Tune in, tap in, share this to somebody. It's gonna be a live show right here. All right. Hey, y'all know what time it is. It's Tuesday, 8 p.m. And we got a little different on the show tonight. We got Mr. Flowers. He offset right now. We got a special guest in the house, but you know it's still the same flavor. So my name is James Mack, live right here at the podcast. We got
it's the Shantastic one.
Mr. Flowers, the Shantastic one, and we also got our special guest.
And I'm living the proof, known as
Living the proof. Yeah. And she's gonna bring real proof and real facts to this conversation tonight. You know, and the topic tonight we're gonna touch is, let me pull it up real quick because it's serious. You know, let me pull this thing up. See if I can find it. I can't find it. There we go. Truth about black women. You know. The truth about black women. This is gonna be real controversial because we don't really get nobody, let me pull that up. We don't really get nobody in the studio really with the uncut, really with the raw, really with the news you can use. But tonight we going there. We're gonna talk about everything from baby daddies to what's wrong with the, women out, black women dating to, drugs and alcohol to a lot of deep things that, a lot of women out there may need to, get some healing from, may want to open up at some point and talk about it with other people. I think it's just time for us to touch some real deep issues and really go there, because we ain't really been there. Now I'm gonna let my co-host jump in for a second and jump it off, Mr. Flowers. Well, first of all, before we do that, I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself once again and tell them, just a little bit about yourself. Don't tell them everything just yet.
All right, I just wanted to share that my name is Elizabeth, but my rap name, because I'm a singer-songwriter and rapper, gospel rapper, living the proof.
Now hold on, stop right there. Now how old are you?
60.
Now you 60 years old.
Yes, 60 years old.
And you rapping and doing music.
And writing.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
60 years old, doing music, rapping, and writing. Writing books. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And you can continue. Tell them the area of the country you're from. Midwest.
Midwest.
Okay. You looking like you're from the Midwest.
What do the Midwest look like?
Okay. So we got the 60-year-old rapper, rap artist, gospel singer,
and
songwriter, and she done been through a lot, so she got a lot she can share with women, and we're gonna break some things down. Mr. Flowers.
Well, first of all, I just want to say happy holidays to everybody. Happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff. Um, but in reference to the show title, you know, we gonna get down. We're gonna get all the way lit with this thing because there's some things that we as young men
Yeah.
want to get off our chest, and there's some questions that we need to ask in reference to it pertaining to women of today, and possibly get into where did we go wrong, so to speak, with the generational gap. So those are the things that I kind of want to get into. Those are some of the things I kind of want to get into. But I mean, if you want me to start it off, we can really get it started off.
Let's unpack it right now. Go ahead, brother.
Right. So, I mean, I guess the first question is, from a older young woman, from your perspective, you know what I'm saying? From an older young woman, where do you think the onus goes, or where do you think everything kind of went wrong?
Well, I can speak on my life, kind of like I think that what went wrong with.
Before we get into what went wrong with you and your situation,
Okay.
he just asked in general, like from where you at your age, and let's just say the 25-year-old black women out there now. What went wrong?
And let me go more in depth because I don't want that to be kind of so broad of a statement.
Okay.
So because you're around the age of my mother, so it went from my grandmother them into my mother's age, which is 64. I think my mother's 65. You went from wanting to have a household and wanting to have the kids, the husband, and all that stuff in the house, right? And then I think my mother's them generation went more. They started going more towards the independent woman phase, right? I think that's, you know, and then of course, now this generation, I believe, is completely, totally independent in a sense to where they feel like they just don't need a man at all. I think it kind of started with, you know, your generation, my mom's generation, where you guys started seeing grandma and them like, okay, well, they kind of, I said it before, they're kind of that we look at grandma and them as they was soft, like they was kind of like, you know, kind of let the men run everything, and then of course, their daughters, which is your generation, their daughters like, I'm not gonna raise my household like that. I'm gonna have some say so in my household, right? And now your daughters or your granddaughters or whatever the case is, now they're just like, I don't need a man for nothing. If he can't provide, then I don't need it. So why do you think today's generation is so, I don't need a man, compared to your generation and grandma's generation?
Well, a lot of things I can speak on fell short. And, you know, just think about being young, being had a kid, you know what I'm saying? And like you said, my mother's generation was really, really strong, and it impacted us for real. But then the things that I seen my mother go through, and she was strong. But answering your question to where I'm gonna bring it back a little bit. I was a single black woman, right?
Okay.
And I remember I had my son. I remember that, you know, even the household, just speak of that, you know, I moved, and, you know, I had to, I remember one time when I moved and stuff the movers because I didn't have enough really, you know, help or anything. They moved the stuff into the house and just set it in one room. Do you know I had to move the refrigerator in the kitchen, pull the stove in the kitchen, set my son's beds up by myself? I had to do that by myself, you know, and I think I'm just saying that to say I think a little bit in me is where it started. The independence, you know, I should have had a man there helping put them beds up and dragging a big old refrigerator to a whole house to a kitchen. So
Okay.
if you have to be doing that kind of stuff yourself, you know, you start to wonder, what I'm a man for? I had to, you know, put all this together by myself. You know, that's just the beginning. Then it, you know, the help. You know, then it being on one accord, faithfulness.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. So do you think that it was so you don't, because from my perspective as a young male, I think looking back, I think it was somewhat systematic the way it was done that way, where women kind of didn't have a male in the household and so forth. But you living it, I'm sure you have a different perspective about it. So do you feel like it might have been systematically done like that? Or do you just think that it just kind of happened to where you was just independent?
It just kind of changed because my mom, fiance and stuff, you know, and she had 5 kids. Okay, let's just look at that. And then, you know, I remember this man taking us out, taking us doing things with it. We weren't even his kids, you know. And then when he got around to me and my kids and stuff, and even if I broke up with the baby, you know, the baby's father or kid's father, whatever, and then the next man came along, and we weren't doing some of the things that I seen men do for my mom. And I don't even think it was because I wasn't, you know, a strong woman or anything. It just didn't happen that way. And it pushed me to be strong because I had nobody there, you know.
Okay.
So let me jump in real fast. So a part of I think
before you do that, okay. I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
Can you fix her mic? Because her mic is kind of it's low, but it has kind of an echo.
Okay. You probably just need to go ahead, scoot up a little bit and talk into it. Yeah. Yeah. That better?
Say something.
Hello.
Okay, it's a little better. You still got to turn it up just a tad bit, because I know if I'm having problems, everybody else probably having problems too.
Okay, let's get back to this, and we'll try to work with that. Mike, go ahead and say something.
Hello.
Yeah, that should be good. It's good on our end. You might not hear it as well on your end though, but we're gonna find out.
Okay, all right. So we can get back to the show. I just wanted to fix some mic. That's all.
Appreciate that. All right, so when we talk about like the change, and when you were saying like the systematic, you know, situation, part of what we, you know, talked about here before is like, you know, let's just say rent assistance, you know what I mean? How rent assistance or those type of programs made it to where you couldn't even have a man in your house, right?
I think that was a little bit before my time because true enough, I did use rent assistance, but they didn't come like that. You know, checking the house to see if I had a microwave and stove and all that stuff. That didn't happen.
So you didn't have to experience nothing like that?
No, I didn't have to experience that.
Okay, so what did you experience?
I experienced the hardship of raising kids singly. I experienced that.
So like what? What were some of the instances? Because what we want you to do is, you know.
Well, some of the instances was.
This is raw and uncut now.
Yeah, okay. Well, some of the
come on in.
Some of the damn.
Yeah, come on in. Let's go.
Go.
Let's unpack this. This raw and uncut. Let's unpack it.
The man wasn't there.
Okay, why was the man not there?
Because I didn't take my time when I met him to see what he was really about.
Okay.
I was just trying to really get somebody to be an example and a man role model for my son. Me and their father we've been together.
Okay, so let's jump into that then. Let's rewind. We're gonna unpack this thing from the beginning because I think a lot of women out here need to hear this, and this is coming really raw from an OG, from a real one that has been through the struggle. And we gotta get real. We got to get real. It's cool to be cute about it, but if we're gonna get somewhere and we're gonna get some real issues on the table, we got to keep it real. So, your baby daddies or the baby daddy that you had kids with, you know, let's start to unpack some of that. Why you think they didn't stick around?
Because basically we were young, kind of. I had my first child, twins, when I was 18 years old. You know, I got pregnant when I was 17. When I turned 18, I was 7 months pregnant. And do you want me to really be honest?
That's what we're here for. This raw and uncut.
I don't know how many women out there had pregnancies that the baby daddy didn't even stick with you through the pregnancy. How about that? And how about living in a house where, you know, you might have had to go stay with one of your relatives with your kid or whatever. Wow. You wind up, you know, sitting there like 7 months pregnant with twins, and you know, you might be sitting in a house where this man come over because he know your kid goes, but he won't even speak to you and you're pregnant with his kids.
So do you think that something like that was part of the environment? Do you think that had something to do with how you were treating you? Was it influences of other people that made him?
It was the influence of other people, you know what I'm saying? And I was too young to realize that at that time, that, you know, he was a little older than me at the time. I was only 18, the man was 23, and the relatives that I was staying with, unfortunately, didn't even let me know that this man could have got in trouble.
Okay.
And the reason why I talked to him is because here I am struggling at 17 years old. I'm going to school and stuff, and then I meet a guy ride by an electric 225.
So you seen the big car.
Offering to take me to school.
Okay.
You know.
Well, you see the take it to the flags. Okay.
So the big car, he rolls up.
Well, with the electric 225, that was buggy back then.
That was big money.
Yeah. Because this was in the 80s, the early 80s. My first child was born in 1980.
Okay.
So yeah, and you know, he had a good job too. You know what I'm saying? He worked at what is it?
M&I Bank?
No, he worked at Milwaukee School of Engineers, MSC.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay.
And then, you know, in my mind as being a young lady, I was like, boom, boom, boom. That's somebody to help. That's somebody that's, you know, can do some things.
So let's unpack that. Unless you got something you want, I'm gonna keep going until you let me know you got one, Flower Man.
Go ahead. You know, I'm gonna comment when I need to comment. Go ahead.
Okay. So you 18 and you see the man with the big. He got the big 225. That's almost like a Cadillac, but it's a Buick.
Yeah, I was 17, matter of fact, and I was coming from school.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I was coming from school, and the car rolled up. You know how they roll up on the side there, hollered at me and everything, and then, you know, it went from a ride, a little talk and everything, and oh man, it just happened so quickly.
Okay.
You know, I was met this man. I was a virgin. You know, never had a relationship. I was 17 years old when I met him.
Okay.
You know, me and this man got together. Boom, bam. I was pregnant. Boom, bam, and lost my virginity at the same time.
All at the same time.
At the same time.
Okay. So, when you look back, do you think that was like one of the big things in your life that kind of, you know, let's just keep it real, that kind of mess things up? In a way.
Yeah. And you know the way that it messed things up, he didn't stick with me.
Okay.
So that's one thing it make a woman start getting cold-hearted a little bit when you know you're a good person and you can't understand how come, you know, with people talking behind your back, even relatives, you know, and they said, you know, somebody that say they love you away from you, and you pregnant with twins.
So you pregnant with twins, people talk behind your back. Feel like the world is against you at this point.
Yes.
Okay.
But you know, with all that said, I was still feeling very determined to take care of my child and to get out there and try to make it do what it do by any means necessary.
Okay, that brings me to another good point then. So, and we're gonna keep going, but we're gonna stop right there because, you know, on the show we like to unpack it from the past to the future. So when you looking at 18-year-olds now, And in the environment you in the city you in, you may see even some that's pregnant at 17, 18. What's the difference between them then, you then, and them now?
Well, even though I was young, and and everything, I don't think I was really, really all that naive. You know, I see these young women now. My kids were spaced. You know, after the twins, I think 5 years I had another baby.
Okay.
In 9 years I had another baby.
Okay.
Yeah, but now I know a woman just 22 with 3 kids.
Okay.
You know, so no, I wasn't gonna do that.
So you don't think they got the drive and determination now that you had when you was pregnant at 18?
No, they don't, because it's very hard out here right now, you know. And then back then they had AFDC and stuff that really wasn't a whole lot of money, but it still helped pay rent somewhere. Now these women are getting with 2 and 3 kids, 4 kids, $649 for 3 kids.
$649
for 3 kids.
Okay.
Golly, that's it.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah. And
that's poverty.
Back then, you know, what they call sugar daddies and all that, this is brought, you know, I had help because, you know, I just wasn't one of them type of sit down moms, even though I didn't have a fantastic job. I had a brain and I had a mouth to talk for me. So
now we going to when after you had kids, you seeing that this guy is not really trying to be a part of your life.
No, that guy wasn't trying to be a part of my life, but then, you know, however, I was blessed to have men come in to help.
Okay, so at that time, so you using your beauty and your booty.
well, let me get that straight since we live, you know. When you really got booty, you don't have to use your booty.
Okay.
Sometimes you ain't gotta use your booty.
Okay.
Your booty could speak. I had a relationship with men several years. Even got pregnant with somebody else's baby while I had these, sugar daddy.
Okay.
And still took care to deal with what they was doing for me. And I want to tell you something else. Didn't even know if I was a man or a woman.
He didn't know if he was a man or a woman?
No, we never had sex. He was attracted to me.
Okay.
You know, a relationship is how a person feels in your company.
Okay, true.
So if you can make a person feel good just being around you,
right,
looking at you and stuff, yeah.
Okay.
They'll help.
So when you look at the 18-year-olds now, the 20-year-olds that's on Instagram or OnlyFans or in the neighborhood, and somebody's pulling up, giving them a couple dollars or a bag of money or whatever.
They're not really giving them money like that now. They're giving them drugs, giving them alcohol, they're giving them, I have seen, even where I live, a lady, beautiful body and everything, a man would pay just to look at her, as well as what I was saying, just I want her, the women value have went down.
The women value have went down. Okay.
So I am one of belief that a man and a female can't just be friends. So I believe I'm one that believes that a man generally goes in with the intent to get with you or have sex or whatever the case is, and ends up being put in a friend zone, so to say, and he sticks around. Yeah, you might think it's because of your company or because it's whatever the case is, but he really is just sticking around, waiting for his shot. And so I that's my way of thinking. But I hear you saying, I hear you saying that he
Go ahead.
But I hear you saying from your experience that was the case, that the guys just enjoyed your company and so forth. But do you think that they was just sticking around waiting for their shot, that you might have put them in a friend zone?
I think that my company and everything. Not only that, they took me to the grocery store, they took me to the laundromat. They did it for my kids. You know what I'm saying? I even could send my kids to pick up money for an envelope and just come. So no, it's who you are, kind of like too. You know? Who you are and what you project onto another human being.
So I hear what you're saying too, Mr. Flowers. So you saying that, like, so the guys that came around, the baby daddies, whatever, did you feel what made? Let me ask you this: what made those situations, starting with the first baby daddy, what made those situations go left or go right to where it didn't work out from your point of view?
Well, I can say that, you know, my baby daddies, I was a good person, you know what I'm saying? I was a good woman and everything and stuff. I wasn't cheating or nothing, but unfortunately I got cheated on, you know, unfortunately, by my kid's father.
And why do you think that is?
I think that he was more advanced than me.
Okay.
You know, kind of like a little bit in the world. In the world, He was a go-getter, money player type of guy that later to be seen. You know.
So the young women out. Go ahead, Mr. Flowers.
So you was attracted to the bad boy.
Yeah, kind of. I didn't know that he really was a bad boy.
Well, you know what I'm saying. You know the bad boy.
You
know, he was the player. You know, had the fancy car, he had the game, he had all of that stuff, had the good job, all that stuff. You know, but you just said he was kind of a kind of a player, kind of sort of. So you was more attracted to the bad boy, which I've always said that women, the young women especially, go after the bad boy type, and then once they get the kids and get, you know, whatever the case is, then they want to go after the good guys. So they don't care about the good guys until after they've experienced all the bad boys, and now they have the kids and have all the other stuff. Now they want the good guys.
Well, you know, this was two baby daddies I'm talking about. You know.
Right. Well, I'm not just talking about you per se. I'm talking about in general.
So my question is, so is that the question, or you just saying like that's what you observed?
That's the observation. Now I want to see if she actually agreed with that observation.
So you was attracted to the bad guy, to the guy that potentially was not good.
That's where I come in saying two different people, because for me. Well, he wasn't no bad guy. You know, he was working.
Let's keep it real, Miss Living. Let's keep it real.
Keep it all the way 1,000. Let's keep it 1,000.
Keep it all the way 100.
Let's keep it 1,000. Come on, this is the raw and uncut now.
The past is the past. That was, you said the 80s, so you talking what, 40 some odd years ago.
Hey, listen, this is raw and uncut.
Maybe I was.
Okay, so you was attracted to the bad guy. So what you know, and we're gonna pivot a little bit and ask you. So for the young women, you know, from 17 to let's just say 25, that's watching the YouTube, that's watching the videos, that's watching these guys with the money, with the guns, that's having money. We heard some women on YouTube say they don't even want the good guys no more. They just want the bad guys who scamming and making money because that's the ones that can spend time with them and got money to spend on them.
They don't want the guy with the 9 to 5 no more. Yeah, he don't make enough money, don't have enough time.
What is your advice to them from your experience?
The fast life, that type of guy, it's not gonna last. You know, it's not gonna last. It's not gonna last. Because if you got them fast, somebody else can get them fast. You know what I'm saying? From you. You know, if you got them fast from somebody else, and it seems like to me now, it may be 10 women to 1 man. Excuse me. You know, I don't think he's gonna be just your man.
But for you, back in the day, maybe not so much now, but we're gonna unpack that too. The dude that wasn't really having no money, you wasn't really trying to mess with him.
I really wouldn't say that. You know, I'm the type of woman that's about a heart and how somebody treat me as well. It's not really, excuse me, it wasn't really all about the money like that.
Mm.
You know, I'd rather would have been with somebody that would have been honest and come home and do what he's supposed to do, help me with the kids. I would have been cool with that type of thing.
But that you can never really find that one.
No. No.
Because you never defined that, or was that what you was really kind of was not attracted to, or that's not what was attracted to you?
Well, I was in a 10-year relationship, and I was attracted to, like you said, the bad guy, but he still waited a whole year before he had me and her had sex with me. You know, I think it's depending on the type of woman that it is too. You know, because a man can't do no more than what you allow him to do.
That's deep.
Right.
That's deep.
Well, you know. Well, a woman controls the sex, but the man controls the relationship, right? Mm-hmm. Because you can't do anything with a woman unless you permits you to, but you can't get married or you can't do any of that type of stuff unless a man asks you to marry him. So, you know what I'm saying? So I get it.
I really think a man can kind of control, because if he ain't got his own place to bring a woman to his house, and everything, how I kind of grew up was what I had the places where they paid the lady. So that made me a little bit in control too.
So you was in control because you had the houses for them to come to. So that gave you a little bit of
the ready-made house, playing house.
Right. And I get you had the houses, but he still had to be the one to ask you to marry him. And so, because even I've had a woman ask me to marry her, and I was like, "What the hell is you doing?" But even back in the 80s and 90s, and even the early 2000s, women wasn't asking men to marry them. It was the other way around. Now you've gotten so independent, and you've gotten so quote unquote woman is in a higher state of mind, I guess now, or living in their masculine energy, that now they don't care. Now they're asking men to marry them versus waiting for the man to ask them to marry them. So that's what I was talking about. A woman controls the sex, and when I use the word control, but it's the truth. A woman controls the sex, because if you just take a woman, that's rape, right? But you have a man has control, because the man is the one that's really quote unquote doing the picking, because he's the one that's saying, will you marry me? And you literally can't get married unless you marry another woman, but you literally can't get married unless a man asks you. So the man is really the one doing the picking. But we have been programmed to think that the woman is doing the picking.
So I'm gonna piggyback off of that, because that's a good topic what you said right there, Mr. Flowers, or what you were saying right there. Let's unpack this masculine energy of a woman type of thing, from a woman that's a strong woman. You consider yourself a strong woman, right? Okay, and I know a little bit about you, and I heard you say before that that men can't really handle you, right? Or they think that you were trying to be controlling. Is that some of the stuff out there? Can you kind of unpack that whole situation for a second?
The reason why they think that is because you got certain women that's just not going to take men shit.
Real,
okay.
Okay.
Not going to take it, period, from the blank. And that's where that masculinity kind of stuff come in, where men have said to me, I don't want no woman that act like she more man than me. And I have to come back with, I ain't gonna say I'm a man. I'm not a man, and I ain't gonna say I'm more man than you. But when you pulling big ass refrigerators and stoves and setting up beds by yourself and wrestling with your brothers when you were growing up, and then you you 3 sons. What ain't masculinity somewhere in there? Like with strength, because you gotta, where I had to be, to me, seemed like the man kind of in the woman, because even not being in a relationship with nobody, moving into these houses, I had to be the one and lay there and listen to the noise and protect the kids and everything. So
you saying throughout your life you had to play both roles, the man and the woman role?
Seemed like it to me.
Seemed like it to you. So when you meet a man, you already got that energy where you pretty much like, I'm playing both roles, so what do I need you for?
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm just asking. Is that an observation? And then I guess we want to ask you, so even from like the 80s to, let's just say we're gonna stop around the 90s, were you meeting weak men?
Yes.
And why you think was weak men attracted to you?
Yes. Yes.
And why do you think that? Why do you think weak men was attracted to you?
I really can't answer that, but I don't know. Maybe they just seen strength,
They seen strength in you.
Yeah.
Okay, and then strong men, do you think they wasn't attracted to you?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they knew I wasn't gonna take their shit.
So they didn't want to argue. They didn't want to fuss. They didn't want to go through none of that.
And when you have a child and the father is not with you, and you get out there at 18 years old in a household and you stay independent all them years while your kids are growing up and stuff, and they never had to really see you, then that forms that steady string you throughout the years to be that strong person.
So you would, if you were mentoring some young women right now, you would tell them pretty much to stay strong and don't take a man's stuff, right?
Well, I'm breaking down a little bit in that because I had to talk to Okay. Let's I had to talk to the Lord about that because, by me being so independent, it messed up the relationships too, you know what I'm saying? It can mess up the relationship too.
Let me ask you this: Do you regret being so independent?
In a way. Not basically the independence, but the headstrong type of chick. You know what I'm saying?
Regret that.
I never had a chance to let men, run some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because I was so independent, and I was like, man, I'm doing this. You get out. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Yeah. Now I'm, excuse me, more older and stuff where I need to sit in the car and just be quiet. I just need to be quiet sometimes and let the man be the man.
So you would actually tell. I gotta ask this real quick. So you would actually tell some young women right now that have that headstrong energy that they probably need to sit down and listen to what the man got to say. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. You need to probably just try to give them. When marriage is. Hi. But anyway, I would just let them know that you might need to relax a little bit. Now, relax to the simple fact is he's telling you things right and he's doing things right. Because you don't want to be with somebody that can't lead. If you follow, you want to lead her.
You want to lead them, right?
To lead you in the right way. And if he's not capable of leading you in the right way, then you gotta go.
You gotta go. And then you don't want to get older and then but you saying you don't want to get older and wish that you was so strong, wish you was so strong when you was young.
Right, because I come from a mother paying her own house by herself. You know what I'm saying? I come from a mother who raised my kids by herself.
So this is kind of a generational thing. Then.
Yeah, and she was very, very strong. A mother that got us up and make our beds up, envelope style. We learned how to dress the table, and stuff like that. And that played a big part in my life because all that my mom put into me, all that structure like that, lots of people don't get that in their homes. So you clash with men and stuff. Yeah, when you get out the bed, you make it up. You don't leave it not made all day long. That's the part in me. You know what I'm saying? This gotta be like this and this gotta be like that.
So it's safe to say that your mother raised you to be an independent woman.
Yes.
She didn't raise you to be like,
depending on what
a submissive woman.
Yes. No, I wasn't raised.
She raised you to don't take no stuff. We ain't trying to hear it. It's our way or the highway. No, real talk.
I mean, real talk. I have been told by men, it's like, man, then it's your way or the highway.
That's what they tell me. Oh man.
Well, most men don't. Most men, when a woman gives them the ultimatum, that's not a good thing, because generally they're going to choose the opposite choice of whatever your ultimatum is. So, and it sounds like you was kind of giving men ultimatums, like, you know, it's either you gonna do it, we gonna do it this way, or you can hit the dough.
Well,
and they chose to hit the dough.
I met men, yeah, you're right, because unfortunately I got hooked up with men that seem to not be capable of winning like they supposed to be winning, you know? I can kind of think, I consider myself a winner. You see this big chain?
Well, I mean, you're flossy. You know what I'm saying? You know. But you know, I have to go back to what my brother Kevin Sam used to say. Rest in peace. But and from a woman's perspective, from a perspective of winning is in life being with a partner. Right? Because nobody wants to go through life alone. Right. So, are you winning from a flossy standpoint? Yes, but are you winning are you like generally happy? Like, are you with something? Do you go home to somebody and y'all can kind of sit and talk and do what you need to do? Like, I know you said you had twins at 18, you got pregnant when you were 17, but I have to ask, have you ever been married?
No, I haven't never been married. And I have been proposed to, but things change before the marriage. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It didn't work. And like I said, I'm 60 years old now, and I haven't even been in a relationship for 3.5 years. I didn't hear the last part. Say it again. I didn't hear the last part. What did you say? I said I haven't been in a relationship in 3.5 years.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And the reason for that is because I was in a 10-year relationship, okay, that I'm speaking of, and I was in a 10-year relationship, and he passed, but I haven't been in a relationship since then because, and I wanted to let you know that a lot of men have tried to rap to me, things just ain't right, you know, it's like, it's not like I'm trying to be like perfect, because no one is perfect, but I see things from the root of how my mom raised me to be able to be wise enough to see stuff before I even get all the way into it now. The conversation of letting me know this ain't for me. You know what I'm saying? The consistency of letting me know this not for me, you know, etc.
Okay.
So I choose to just be alone right now until, and I'm working on myself so I can be that type of woman, you know, that can submit like the Bible says.
Okay. So a lot of women right now is going through the same thing that you're going through, right? They a little bit older. Now they're kind of like, you know, settled in their ways or not really, but some of them trying to change, you know. So you want to know one that's trying to change right now, but are you in a space where you feel like it's no good men for you, or do you feel like you still got work to do on yourself? Because we're going to get into that. You got work to do on yourself to attract the type of man you want.
Well, I feel like I still need to work on myself, you know, even at 60, but I feel like, you know, I always know that I was a loyal woman. You know, I'm not a cheater and all of that kind of stuff. And if I'm in a relationship with somebody, I'm trying to do my best to make it work.
Okay. I want to jump in. I want to jump into something real quick. You know, about America and about, you know, the American dream and stuff like that. What did you want to be? And what was your goals set on and your career set before you start getting into, you know, having kids and start with the struggle and all that?
I always wanted to be a singer writer. I had tall dreams of being a star. You know, I wanted to sing. I've been singing ever since I was 16 years old.
And
Just didn't really have the support even of the family to go where I could go, probably if I had the support back then.
so you don't, you really couldn't see your way through it to get it done just by yourself.
Seeing with 2 kids and stuff. You know, back then I almost had got down with 5-star music master of Boston. I wrote a country song and, they wanted to sign me and stuff. But, I didn't really know. I had kids and I really didn't have the help to lead the kids,
So the kids, and we see it with a lot of black women right now, the kids and the single parents is one of the biggest things that hinder them from really living the life they want to live. Huh? Is that what you feel?
I feel like, because I feel like, I didn't have the help with the kids or even the family support. And I had the talent, though.
You had the
what I'm saying? But I didn't know what to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How to go by it. They asked me to send them a letter, send them they wanted to see how it looked and everything and stuff like that. But unfortunately, that didn't work out because I had a best friend that I gave a letter to mail it on her way home, and she never did. So,
okay.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy, right?
She never did.
Yeah.
So with all your dreams, and just please hop in there whenever you feel like it, Mr. Flowers. With all your dreams and aspirations. Go ahead.
Well, I was because I know she, at the beginning of the show she said that she was an author. Of course, we're talking about songwriting, and that you're a gospel performer, gospel rapper, I think. So when did you actually get into all of that? Like when did you write your first book, and when did you start doing the gospel rap and all that kind of stuff?
Well, like I said, I started rapping at 16 years old, and I'm from Wisconsin. And my very first rap I performed at a park in Milwaukee. It was called Trans at that time.
So was the first rap a gospel rap, or was it like straight hip hop?
The first song I wrote was a gospel song.
Oh, okay.
Then I wrote a rap, and I'm just like immature rapping at this time though, but it worked. I didn't know how good I was until I entered a contest at the bar one night and won.
Oh, okay.
So that would inspired me that you got looks. I mean, look at all these people that's, rooting for you.
Right.
Then I started performing around the churches.
Okay, you okay, so using that circuit. Gotcha.
And I started performing around the churches. And I just wrote a couple of books that's gonna come out. I wrote
gotcha.
three books.
And when did you start writing books?
I just started writing books a year ago.
Okay. Gotcha. Where can we find?
I'm at this bill. Hold that thought, Mr. Flowers. Hold that thought. We're gonna unpack that a little bit more towards the end of the show. We got to get a little bit deeper. We got to get the people what they came to hear, because we talking about the truth about black women, raw and uncut. Just the truth about black women. So I definitely want to make sure we get a little bit more deeper and unpack this situation, because I know there's some people that's gonna be watching this, and they're gonna want to hear something that may touch them, that may help them. You know what I mean? And we have to give them some of the truth and some of the real, because I know that's what they're looking for. You know what I mean? Liv?
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. So, with the whole baby daddy situation and not really being able to explore your dreams and, living in the hood, would you say? Living in the hood, struggling as a single parent. How did that affect you?
It affected me really bad, really.
Talk to us about it.
Places and things affected me, where my lifestyle started later on.
Aspiring.
Drugs, aspiring to drugs and stuff to numb the pain and take it a little bit farther on down the road, stuff like that.
So let's unpack that just a little bit. If you're ready, if you want to talk about it.
Oh, I'm free to talk.
Okay, cool. So having kids, because it's women out there right now. It's women out there right now that have kids. They sitting home right now, or whenever they watch this, holding their head, trying to figure out, and then somebody calling their line talking about I got that gas. Talking about I got that new gas and I got that loud. Their kids running around. They ain't got no baby daddy. Somebody calling them talking about I got them rolls. You know what I mean? Right now, out there somewhere. And they need to know that, you can still, the God is moving in such a way where you don't have to pick that phone up and say, bring me a roll or bring me some gas or bring me some dope or whatever.
Right.
So where did
Molly's Perks, whatever.
Yeah, Molly's Perks, whatever. If you can go back in time, what would you have changed so your life wouldn't have made that change?
I would have had changed company with people, places, and things. I would change some of my company. My life took me to some things that I had to do to survive. I love drugs.
Oh, you was a drug dealer?
I was a drug dealer.
Okay. Nah, it's real. What got you into drug dealing, first of all?
Survival.
Okay. So no baby daddies, no baby daddies.
My kids, making sure that they didn't need nothing.
So you had to pick that bag.
Pick that bag up, but when picking that bag up, you pick a lot of more things up. I just want to tell people that, if you can get around using drugs and stuff, don't use them, you know what I'm saying? Because drugs wind up being a crutch, when things happen, trauma or whatever, etc. in your life, you want to numb the pain. But sometimes it's good to go through the pain because humility makes you strong. Things you have to do it.
Sometimes it's good to go through the pain.
Right.
So you was there, you was a single mother out there right now. You had, at that point, you had 1 or 2 kids. You trying to figure out what it's gonna do, and then somebody call you up and say, I got it.
And you were like, come on through. The man and left, the kids hollering. You can see people walk down the street dressed up and can't go out. Can't get a babysitter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But you probably can sit home and get high and think that you got it going on. But in the meantime, you really don't got it going on. You're hiding in your house, you're trying to hide so the kids can't see what you're doing. They little right now, but they do grow up. And they start seeing what you're doing. And that
I think, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So I think in today's society, I don't think you don't find too many women. Actually, you don't find too many people, period, nowadays, at least that I know of, that's selling too many drugs now. Women nowadays are they're selling their bodies now versus selling drugs. Because I think the world has become so over-sexualized that they would much rather go on Snapchat, Twitter, Twitch, whatever the case is, and have somebody come through, or they go through somebody's house, do what they do and get them quick couple dollars and go on back to where they got to go. So I think that's the drug that they're selling now, which is, sex. So unfortunately,
sure. But even within sex, you know what I'm saying? Even with the sugar daddies back in the day, you still got to drink half a bottle of gin to be able to deal with a little stanky old man or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, the drugs still go play a part. You still want to numb. You don't want nobody touching you. These are the that I really didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So you got to numb that. But it's different. It's different levels of the mentality too, because I tried to walk the streets one night. I tried to get into, making money for my body. It just wasn't cut out for me. The man told me basically I started crying. He wanted some head, and I couldn't provide it for him. At least I never had did that, and I was choking and gagging, and he was not smelling too good, and he was like, baby girl, look, just take this money and this is not for you. And from that day on, I never had to.
So,
but yeah, but
you get to the point to where you selling your body, because where I live, I see it now. And these girls is not even getting money for their body; they getting drugs for it. You know,
they getting what?
They getting drugs, weed, whole handful of weed.
Okay.
You know,
Right.
Or a blonde or something, you know, and this is what they're getting for sex. It's not all about that money no more like that. Now, I mean, high class baby women, yeah, beautiful women and stuff, but I see a lot of women now. You know, I was riding in a car and I thought she needed help. She only, you know, $1 and $2, you know, for some alcohol, you know, so. I'm a woman, and if a woman comes to me asking me what she can perform to me for $2,
wow,
it's really bad, and it's really sad, and it's really hurtful. Now, this is the problem now. So by all of this going on out there in the streets, with the women have lost value on themselves, the good women, excuse me, please, that sit back now waiting for their good man, where he's gonna come when he know he can get all this other stuff for the low or for cheap? When he gonna come?
Okay.
Okay, so the women is not holding the value up anymore. Okay.
And you know, that's what's making now, when I tell you that, that's what's making it hard for the better women now. Because the value, the women out there are selling their bodies for, you know, $10 and $20 and stuff like that. So them men's, that's what they jumping on. So when they meet up with a woman like me, or other women, strong women, man, you gotta go right.
So basically, excuse my French, but basically what you're saying is the hoes is winning right now.
Yeah.
So in this conversation, you know, we have to really unpack this a little bit more, because when we say the truth about Black women, you know, raw and uncut, you know, we talking about, you know, a lot of the issues that's going on now, like we said, the masculinity or the strongness of women. We unpacking the single motherhood problem, the drug problem, and then even, you know, the attractiveness of a lot of the women these days. Because, and we're gonna get to that, because I was talking to you when you were saying a lot of the women, they depressed, and they eating, and they getting overweight, and that's what's leading them down a whole nother spiral or something else. You want to touch that?
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of that is what's going on. We have, you know, they move too fast. We got these kids, 5 to 6 kids, you know, they can't get out, they eating, they depressed, you know what I'm saying? And they'll take about anything now because their self-esteem is so low.
So a lot of the self-esteem is at an all-time low.
Yes.
And the men, what are you seeing with the men? Because they tell you the good men, it's hard to find this, that, and the other. But
it seems like they values, you know, like when Mr. Flowers talk about like the men's, like my mom's generation and then our generation and stuff like that. I mean, you know, what's it? What you do? You do good? Oh,
but they didn't. But so a lot of these men, because you saying for yourself, okay, you raised how many kids?
3.
Okay, so you raised 3 kids by yourself, right? So that means 3 fathers that wasn't there raising 3 sons, right? So how you think that affects?
Well, 2 fathers, because you had it's 3 kids, but it was sets of twins.
Yes.
So 2 fathers. Right.
No, it's
2
3 fathers.
It's 3 fathers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had 7 twins. And I had 3 boys.
Yeah, let's go ahead and unpack this though.
Let's unpack it.
Yeah.
Let's
So
unpack
this is my mother. this my mom's right here, and we get down to the nitty gritty, because she got you know, my mom's have a journey and a struggle, and we struggle as kids, and you know, it's time to, you know, have a testimony, and go through this stuff. This could be even a release for some of you to get this out into the world, because it's a lot of women out there and men out there that need to hear this. You need to be able to relate on what a woman that's older than you or younger than you went through and is going through, so that you can see maybe some places that you're going wrong, or maybe some things you're doing right. Because when we talk about the truth about black women, all black women is not in bad positions. All black women didn't come from bad neighborhoods. All black women is, it's plenty of black women that's in sororities, got their education and everything. But in certain parts of America, they had an agenda, and you kind of got caught up in one of those agendas. You think?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I had a dream. I still got it.
Yeah, what's that?
My music, the books, it was my dream. And, it's coming true.
Yeah, it's coming true. But having the kids set you back from really achieving your dream.
You know what? I wouldn't even say the kids set me back. The lack of help set me back with my kids. The father not being there was a setback.
Mm-hmm.
Kids, the whole responsibility by myself.
Yeah, just having it all on your shoulder.
Just having it all up on my shoulder, everything I had to worry about while they were still doing their thing. You know what I'm saying?
And then you get help from the government, but the government is only giving you enough help to really help you survive. You think?
Yeah. And I didn't even have to really be on it, but there again, we gonna talk back with this old, dysfunctional relationships and stuff like that. That's other things like that come on in and hold people down.
What you mean?
Toxic people.
Talk about
relationships.
Talk about it.
Toxic is when you keep on loving somebody or something when you know they're not good for you, or they're doing you wrong, and you're still caught in the relationship, and instead you let it continue to go on and on and on, then you should get out of it.
Flower Man.
Well, I'm learning, because I'm sitting here thinking about the whole toxic relationship thing, and of course, a lot of people. I've always said this, and I find this to be true. A lot of people just don't like to be by themselves, so they'll deal with certain things and deal with things they normally wouldn't, or deal with crazy and foolishness, just so they don't have to be by themselves. And so that's where that whole toxic, because in a toxic relationship, both parties are really toxic, because both parties might be insecure to a degree. One might be insecure because he or she feels like you're out doing stuff that you don't have no business, and the other might be toxic because he or she know they need to be gone but don't want to be by themselves. So they sit there and fuss and fight and all that stuff just because they're trying to keep from not having to go home and be in their own head. And I think COVID actually taught us a whole lot about that, because COVID forced you to be at home. COVID forced you to be with that person. And a lot of people didn't make it through COVID simply because they learned or already knew that they wasn't supposed to be together. They just was together because, it was convenient. And that's why you had so many breakups during COVID, is because I can't stand you. I really can't stand you. So why are we really here? And we got to be forced to be in this house together? Nah, somebody got to go.
That's deep. That's real. So so a lot of black women, including yourself, survive, single parenthood, drugs, they just put drugs all in the communities in the early 90s, and then you have to go through other situations. So what were some of the other,
Can I say something?
Sure can.
Okay, let's speak back up, surviving drugs. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
How did I get off
talk about
drugs? What happened to Okay, so if there's anybody out there dealing right now with drugs, rollers, crack cocaine, weed, you can get off
pills.
You can get off of it. Because you got to find within yourself to say that's enough. You know what I'm saying? And when you can admit that to yourself, and you know you're not happy, and you know that this is taking, you know that you're hurting your loved ones, you know that your family's not talking to you, you know that everything didn't hit rock bottom, it's time to say, I need help.
So when they say they need help, who is to help you?
So, for me, I'm going to talk about me. Okay?
Yeah, talk about you.
This is how I did it. I admitted to myself. I looked at my kids, and that's not what I wanted for myself. So I got up and went and got me.
So let me ask you this: you think that having the lack of a strong man, a leader, or a husband, kind of led you to drugs?
I think it kind of, in some senses, nothing, happened. Yeah.
Why? Why?
Because everybody wants the right thing, the right kind of relationship, the right love, the right man, the right everything. Nobody wants no negative man, negative relationship, negative this, negative that. You want women basically out there drink up this man, this night is gonna make it with me, it's not gonna leave me, and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So you went through some bad relationships, you were struggling with the kids, and here come the drugs.
Yeah.
So at what point, I know you said you got fed up, but unpack that a little bit more. At what point where you was just like, you know what, I'm tired of this. I can't do it no more. I don't want to be on drugs. I want to be successful. Where did it end?
It ended when I took that step and said no more, I was just tired of that.
What happened at that point? Because a lot of people hear that, but they don't know that it needed to be one situation where you like, I cannot do this no more.
I mean, you can live a lie, but when you look at your kids, you know what I'm saying? I looked at my kids, you know what I'm saying? I looked at their faces, you know what I'm saying? And that's what made me say this wasn't, I love them. I don't love this. I love my kids, you know what I'm saying? And that's what led me to put my health down.
Right. Because there's a lot of women out there.
And I just want to say that it's still a battle. It's a battle, you know what I'm saying? Because if you don't stay around people, a good environment of people that's doing good things in their life and stuff, if you're struggling with any kind of addiction and your relatives got card parties that's drinking them, but you don't even do drugs no more, you don't need to be there. You don't need to be there. You don't need to go out to a bar and say, well, girl, I might go out with you, but I don't drink. Well, why is you going? That's just triggers, and especially if you didn't recover from those sicknesses. You know what I'm saying? You got to stay strong.
Right. Flower Man, you want to touch on that?
Well, I mean, you was getting ready to say, women, but I think that's a statement that goes beyond gender. I think that's a statement that goes towards everybody. You know what I'm saying? And so, because I know a few people, who is either dealing with drug abuse now, currently, or have in the past as well. And so, and I know one individual who it took his mother. It was one of the situations where he, made the promise to his mom on her deathbed that he was going to change. That he was going to stop. So I know that situation happened. So that was the dramatic change in his life that made him, stop doing the drugs. And then I know another individual who is trying now to get off or wean himself off of narcotics or cocaine or whatever. And, it took him to have grandbabies. You know what I'm saying? And so So it's I've seen it on from a woman's perspective and from a male's perspective. So this particular conversation or this particular part of the conversation is not targeted towards women. It's a genderless conversation.
So you got through the drug and you was able to put that down and you got straight, you got your head on straight. You back.
Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah, big ups to you.
Thank you.
And then you had some more struggles. Huh?
Had some more struggles.
Talk
had
about
some more struggles. And then let me know the drugs came back. You know what I'm saying? It's like a revolving door. You got to stay grounded. Around tables, like they said, the programs and stuff, and people that don't do drugs and alcohol. I had a best girlfriend for 30 years. She was clean and sober. I spent multiple times with her. You know what I'm saying? We watched TV. We were doing things with people that's sober.
Yeah.
You know, and when the program say to know the difference today, it'll let you know the difference.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Of being out there. I was the type of person, I was telling you about how strong, I was so ashamed of myself. I didn't even want to be seen when I was on drugs. So nobody never even knew I was really on drugs, really. Because I steady kept myself clean. I steady kept myself looking like people and even the drug dealers didn't even want to sell me no drugs. It was like, I don't earn that, you don't mess with that drug. Not her.
Right.
So yeah, and then cause it's a trigger. You could just be triggered so fast. Okay, I'm not doing drugs no more. I'm only drinking now, girl. But drinking will lead you right back to your choice of drugs.
I think Mary
It's
J.
a gateway.
Mary J. Blige has spoke on that. So you're strong. Yeah, after that, years passing by, you're standing strong, and then which a lot of women is faced with right now.
And I want to say something. You don't stand strong by yourself. You need that higher power.
Oh, okay.
See, now let's tap into spirituality.
Let's do it.
Because I had to have God. I had to let go and let God, take over. He had to take the wheel because I couldn't do it by myself.
Right.
So some would say that, then why God let you get on it? Or some could, play like
but
that.
God didn't let me get on it. I chose to do that because we have choice in our life to do good or bad.
Oh, okay.
We have that free choice. He gave it to us. That's where we come in at.
Well, I tell everybody, I still say this. I say this to this day. Which is why I try not to judge nobody because everybody has a vice, and some people's vice might be, drugs. Some people's vice might be alcohol. Some people's vice might be sex. Some people's vice might be stealing. Some people's vice might be, all types of watching pornos or watching, whatever the case. So everybody has a vice, and all of that stuff is addictive. And so, like she said, it takes a higher power to wean you off of whatever vice you have. But I don't want people to think it's just all about drugs because drugs are that stimulant that you get from being high. You also get from pleasurable sex. You get it from stealing. You get, you got those different chemical releases. You even get it from social media. You get those social media highs. So it's a whole lot of different highs and a whole different other vices that you can have other than just narcotics or alcohol.
So let's go into something that I know, that a lot of people, men and women, but we talking about especially black women right now facing is health. Health. Because after you go through a lot of times with, doing your body wrong or not even living that, let's just say not living the healthiest lifestyle, then them things can kind of come back on you, or you could just have, some health issues. So you went through some health things, right?
Yes.
You want to speak on that?
Yes, I did. I went through some health things, and I think a lot of it was caused by the drugs that I did do and cigarette smoking. That was another thing, and I thank God that I'm like almost 2 years off of cigarette smoking now. So yeah, that's another good thing. But it took, I'm 60 years old. It took a long time to get there, which I had quit multiple times. And let's tap in. I'm just gonna get real.
Come on.
Okay, I had quit multiple times, even smoking cigarettes and stuff. But I noticed, you know, in who I am, when you have to be delivered.
You said what again?
You have to be delivered. You have to get on your knees and go to a high power and ask him to take that away.
Mm.
The reason why I'm saying this is because I quit several times on my own and went back.
Mm.
But when I got on my knees at the altar and surrendered, he moved it for good.
Mm. Okay.
So when you get delivered from things that got you bound in your life, you don't go back.
Mm. Mm. And do you want to speak on some of the health things that you experienced?
Yeah. So I went through some health things and stuff. In 2014, I was diagnosed with leukemia.
Wow.
And I went through a battle with the leukemia. I stayed out in the hospital. Matter of fact, they did a story on me. But they called me a miracle, and that's where the name Living comes in from, Living the Proof. Okay. So let's talk about how I got the name Living the Proof. I got the name Living the Proof is because I am living the proof, because I'm living, I'm alive. I'm a survivor of 2-time leukemia. I've had leukemia 2 times.
You had so you know, a lot of people out there don't make it through that. That was a real serious cancer, right?
People don't make it through leukemia.
People don't make it through leukemia.
Not too much, but you know people do. But people, boy, I stayed in the hospital 5 whole months. I didn't have no immune system.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I know if you're my son, the doctor talked to you and told you to make your mom comfortable because they said I was going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that high power seemed fit for me to live. I'm living and I'm here today, and I got something still to do. Yeah. Yeah,
no, that's deep because you know I was in Utah at the time, in Salt Lake City, Utah, and you pretty much got cancer overnight.
Well, I think that I went to the hospital because something was hurt, and this is awareness to people. You know, health check things. You know, we got these little knots in the back of our heads. You know what I'm saying? And I never knew that there were lymph nodes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they was hurting. And I was like, what's going on? So I went to the doctor about emergency room for about 3 or 4 times, and you'll be all right. And then a couple of days later, I went back because it was hurting real bad. And when we got to the emergency room, I was like, these knots in the back of my head, they hurt. What is them? And they fall into the blood. And when they came back, we were in there for so long, a few hours. When they came back through the door and said, I'm sorry to tell you, but you have leukemia. And I knew what leukemia was from the Jerry Lewis Leukemia Foundation. My mom used to have us watch when we were little.
Wow.
And so that's what I knew what leukemia was. And I was like, I got leukemia. She was like, yeah. So I was right from the emergency room to Freighter Hospital. Yeah. And my car was at the hospital, the emergency room. I didn't see it for 30 days. Mm-hmm. I never came back out of the hospital.
Mm-hmm. And this is just a testament because at that time I had a jewelry store and a barbershop in Salt Lake City. I gave all that up. People, I gave it all up. I closed the jewelry store, was making plenty of money. I had to close the barbershop over time, but I left and went to go sit with my moms through the leukemia, through the treatment. So for anybody out there that you know got somebody in the hospital, listen. We sitting in the James Mack store right now, again with moms. If I wouldn't went out there with her and went back home to the hometown and everything to sit with her, and would have been just like, you know, I gotta get my money, I gotta get this to this bag, I can't come out there and sit in no hospital. She probably wouldn't be sitting right here right now.
Right. Please take care of yourself, you guys. Know that things you put in your body have an effect, okay? Even down to the food.
So I want to touch on that too, because before you had the lymph nodes, what did you do to your body before you got sick?
I drank.
No, that's not what I'm trying to pull out. you got a perm, you got a curl, and some. Yeah,
Oh,
let's unpack. Let's unpack that.
So yeah, I had went to the beautician and I had decided that I wanted to wear curly. And this was in 2014. And I got some pretty long hair and beautiful hair. But I look really good with curls. So I went to go get this curl, put in my hair, and she put the curl in my hair. And I think the curl had something to do with the sickness too.
Wow. So you say when you got the curl, and when
I got the curl put in my head, probably about a week later, so from me getting the curl, and she turned around and dyed my hair too.
So you got a double
I got
dose
a curl
of poison.
and a perm.
You got a double dose.
The curl and the hair dye at the same day.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing I know, the knots was coming up with that.
So it just soaked all into your brain and everything.
I think that to cancer.
So a lot of y'all might want to double think getting those perms.
And I'm sitting here now, you guys, and I got this. I had got my hair braided before I even came out here. You know, I got my hair braided, and this hair is doing something because one of my neighbors got her hair braided, and she called me down to her apartment and hold her hair up in the back, and bumps was all on her neck and everything. And I just got my hair braided, and I'm starting to get bumps all on the back of my neck.
So that's just a warning. We unpacking some serious stuff right now. Now we getting to it. That's just a warning for all y'all out there getting the weed. You know, I know somebody else that broke out from the weed. These Chinese manufacturers, these Chinese places where they're making this weed, we don't know what's in the weed.
We don't know what's in it. It was hurting so bad last night, you guys. I had to get up and take three braids down now. When the girl was braiding my hair up, it wasn't hurting and stuff. So why would 2 weeks later it's hurting and irritating my head to the point that I gotta get up and take them out?
So a lot of black women in America and in Africa too, all over the world, is getting sick from toxic hair, different things. And they also getting sick from BBLs. You know what I mean, Mr. Flowers? BBLs is getting a lot of women sick. Getting surgery is getting a lot of women sick. You need to just
I mean, since we're talking about the whole, I gotta kind of bring it full circle because,
come on now.
Because we as men been telling women for years now that we prefer a woman more natural, but a woman is going to get the hair, the lashes, the BBLs, the fake breasts, all that stuff, not for us, because we've been telling you guys since forever that we don't particularly care for it. But you guys are doing it more so for competition of each other. So you're doing it more for the other female than you are for the guys. So you're getting sick and you're getting these things done to you, not for the benefit of a man or whatever the case is, or trying to attract a man, but you're doing it to more so be in competition with the other ladies.
What do you think about that?
Well, I don't think so. I don't think I'm, as far as me getting, I don't know if it's, well, maybe it's a competition thing with women, yeah, maybe it is, but I don't wear all that other stuff, I really do wear my natural hair kind of like, but I got braids because I know I was going out of town and stuff, but I don't, but yeah, maybe.
But I mean, the whole point of it is trying to be attractive to men, right? Or
trying
just
to attract men.
Trying to have a comfortable hairstyle where you ain't got a comb.
Right.
Okay. So let's go ahead and move to it. So we got, so I just want to clear that up. Women, y'all need to double think when you get ready to get the braids. Get the expensive hair. Don't get the cheap stuff. Don't get the.
Well, even when it comes to the hair, I mean, they can tell you it's human hair, or they can tell you it's whatever the case is, but you never really know. You know what I'm saying? Because science is so advanced now that they can synthetically make some real hair and tell you it's real hair.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Look at Prime. Look at Coach Prime. Prime was bald, he would have had some surgical stuff done. Now Prime got some hair.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? You know, and so it's certain things that they can do scientifically now because it's so advanced, and especially with 3D printing and all this stuff now, you never know what's real and what's fake.
Okay. That's real. That's real talk. Go ahead.
I do think it's something in his hair, though. It itched to even touch the skin. So something ain't right. Something ain't right.
Well, it's a lot of plastics. It's a lot of chemicals that they make it from. You know, they make it out of chemicals. You know, out of different fluorides, out of different calciums. So they put this stuff together and make strands of this stuff. And yes, it can definitely.
Well, I'm taking it out because I'm in.
And
from leukemia, and I don't.
And it's a $1 billion, $1 trillion industry, and we all know that most of that comes from our culture. And if they're trying to get rid of our culture, what you think think about it from that perspective. If they're trying to wipe blacks off the face of the earth, what better way to do it than to put it through what our women buy the most?
Yeah, that's true. I want to touch on one thing. You're right about that, Mr. Flowers. I want to touch on one thing. Let's go to social. Let's shift to social media for a minute because this is affecting Black women in a major way. Social media.
Let me grab my charge. I'll be right back.
Okay, you're a social media influencer yourself now, right? Okay. Why did you choose to get into that lane?
Well, basically, I was following a couple of other people, and then I
like who? They own social media, so I mean, they can.
Yeah.
Who inspired you? Okay, but you see people.
I was kind of inspired by. I was following Cora BB.
Okay.
And she's an African princess from Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
I like her music and everything. I like her music and stuff. And I just like she wrote a book, you know what I'm saying? She's doing big things. Big Cora, shout out to Big Cora.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she inspired me in some ways.
Yeah, so that inspired you to kind of get on the social media wave too, right?
Yeah, because I was told that this is things where you can make money. You can sit at home and work.
Okay,
it's a job.
Right. So we're seeing a lot of women right now jump on the social media. However, what do you see wrong about the social media and the women right now? What do you see them going wrong at?
Well, even with her, who I told you I was following, recently had a divorce. You know what I'm saying? And now I just seen, I don't want this to be a debate because these people might really hear this, but then I seen another couple I was following, The Truth.
Okay, yeah, we know.
And his wife went through something. I don't like to see our Black people exposing all this craziness and all of what all they go through on social media. They married, they divorces, and it's just making me sick to my stomach to see men and women who they say they loved at once, and beat them down like they are on social media.
So you didn't see, we didn't have this type of stuff back in the day.
No. It's just really getting bad. Social media is being used for a lot of.
How so? You thinking it's bringing the worst out of people?
Yeah, in a way, and negativity to the platform. So
you think the social media nowadays is being used to exploit and bring the negative out to Black people for the most part?
Mm-hmm. The more negativity you bring, the bigger your check.
How do it feel when you get the likes and when you don't get the likes? How's that feeling to you?
Well, it's kind of disappointing.
You talking to me?
Because you're gonna think that you're doing something to inspire somebody as well,
Mm-hmm.
And when the lights go down, you feel like you're not doing a good enough job.
That does that work on your self-esteem? When you get in your likes, you feel better about yourself, right?
Yeah.
As a person, you feeling better, right? We talking real talk now. We talking modern day talk. When you get them likes, you feeling good. When you don't get them likes, how does it make you feel?
Like a bad relationship.
Wow. that's
Okay.
like you got dumped, huh?
Yeah.
What you mean like a bad relationship?
It's a letdown.
It's a letdown.
Yeah, it's a letdown. The show is a letdown.
And you feel like you got to get back.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the bad relationship, they let you down. You got to bust a window or something and let them know I'm getting you back.
Yeah. Well, you want to get better, and you want them to see that. You know what I'm saying? That you got better. You know?
Yeah. Or better in a worse way. Because I'm saying like they'll reward you. You do something goofy, right?
Yeah. And, I was following these people, and it was told her husband got up there and said, negativity brings the money.
Right. So let me ask you this: if you on social media now, and we're gonna have you shop on social media out in just a second. And you growing your page, you growing your following. What's the point of you being on social media?
My point is to inspire people. My point is to improve people, not just walking the walk, not just talking the talk, but walking the walk. You know what I'm saying? When you put your mind in doing something, you just got to go forward. And right now, it's probably a battle on my social media. It's because I'm out here and I'm doing things and, living the proof with what's the word living is my page. And I'm praying and I love the Lord and stuff like that. But then they send another part of me right now, not getting up there twerking, not smoking weed, not shaking my butt, nothing like that. But I pray, and then I might listen to a little worldly music with my videos and everything. And I think I'm being judged now by that.
So you think that if you was rolling up a blunt and shaking your butt in your live, your views would be up?
Oh, yeah. Certainly.
You'll be up.
Yeah.
So that's the key, really, to the social media.
Yeah.
What can you tell to the young women out here? Because right now, the young women, that's part of their self-esteem. Like you just said, when they get the likes, they up. And when they get 2 likes, they feel like they got dumped. They feel like a bad relationship. They feel like the guy ran off on them. What can you say to them?
I can say what you say to me. Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
Keep
going. Consistent. Stay consistent.
Stay consistent.
Yeah. But sooner or later, you're going to win. Just stay consistent and, keep believing in yourself and what you're trying to do.
Let me ask you another question. Do you think America let you down?
No.
Okay.
I think I let myself down.
You let yourself down. How so?
Because you can be all you can be in life. You can let yourself down by going out there and chasing your dreams.
And you don't feel like you chased your dreams?
I didn't feel like I chased them enough.
So somebody out there right now that's thinking about chasing their dreams or got some dreams or want to do something, what do you tell them?
Stay consistent. Continue to chase your dreams no matter how old you get. Don't let nothing get in the way of it. Find you a good babysitter.
That's deep.
So if you got talent or something like that, get you somebody that's going to be responsible for taking care of your kids. You still got to make that bag, bring home to take care of your kids. You need to be able to have a peaceful mind while doing it. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, I didn't have the help like that.
Flower Man, what you got?
So, I hear you say you didn't have the help. I hear you say that, you feel like you let yourself down. But do you feel like men let you down?
Mm.
Yeah, I feel like that too. Yeah.
Why they let you down?
I guess they couldn't see my vision.
Mm.
They couldn't see your what?
Vision.
Okay. Explain
They
yourself,
just weren't believing
please.
in me enough, or believing in what I wanted to do with my life.
Mm.
I wanted to be a rapper. You got some man that's like, you can't rap. You need to be with somebody who won't say
But
that.
if you were in somewhat of a relationship, right, with the fathers or men in general, does that go both ways? Generally, the visionary is the man,
Mm.
right? And a woman assists him with the vision, and then in return you get certain parts of your dreams too.
I don't agree with that concept because the following you see on social media we were talking about, I follow her, right? And her husband, they do a pretty picture about how they were living their life, but it was a lie, you know what I'm saying? And he was mad because she was making all the money, you know what I'm saying? And he wanted to take her money, which was supposed to be their money, which was a joint bank account that they had and stuff, but do everything. Now this lady is making all this money, you know what I'm saying? And her husband, who says commit to the man, he want to pick the house out. He picking her car out without her even being with him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And that's her bringing the money in. He
Right.
was a
Possessive.
Well, they was on a live one day, and he said to her, "There's more to life than likes and views."
That's a true
But
statement.
all the time he was jealous and wanted her life and views because now that they got a divorce, he's not even a doctor no more. He's social media and just doing what she was doing. Isn't that
Okay,
something?
so go ahead. I'm listening. I'm listening. My
I'm
bad.
just
Go
saying,
ahead.
isn't that something that you're married to somebody who break your phone up and stuff to tell you on social media too much and you making the money? And because
What? That sounds toxic.
Okay, so yeah, he calls her narcissistic, but really he was a narcissist. This man went on social media and this is what I'm talking about. This man went on social media 3 days after his wife had her second baby and announced a divorce, and then left the home on social media.
He left the home.
Left the home. A month later, put her out the house with her newborn baby. Clips are caught on social media of this man calling her a hoe and stuff in front of her kids. Okay? But the picture that they drew for social media was this perfect couple.
That's
now,
deep.
this lady went now listen to this, okay? When you talk about the strong women now, right?
Right.
So this lady had went on since the divorce now and making it big by herself.
So she didn't need.
She didn't roll a book. She cut hit after hit.
Well, I mean, generally, women support other women. You know what I'm saying? And look like, for example, look at Megan Thee Stallion. In this trial that she got with Tory Lanez. And so it's coming out that Megan Thee Stallion was lying all along, but women are still going to support her because of because women generally support other women. You know what I'm saying? And so, that situation might have happened, and it might have blew up, and it might have been ugly. He put her out, and did all this on social media.
It was really ugly. You know what was really ugly about it? This is what we're portraying on these kind of guys. To leave your baby that young, you know what I'm saying? To leave your baby that young and walk out the house. Walk out the house and then tell her she got a new cassette ticket. Now, you heard me say he went to purchase the house with her money and stuff. So gave her like a couple of weeks. This lady actually moved her kids by herself in a U-Haul. Do you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
With no help.
Mm. On
Picking
social
up
media.
the baby on social media where we can see it.
Right.
Okay? They got her apartment and everything back now in a little stable making all. And he had a nerve to go to court and ask for spousal support from her.
But it's something to that, right? Because it's like, okay, for me, I would be like, do you have to put everything on social media?
Well, another thing I didn't get to say. I had to say about her. Stuff that she was doing was bad. Half naked all the time on social media.
Let's go.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? She was embarrassing. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Her behavior was off the chain.
And he's white.
And he's white. This is a Nigerian lady.
Right.
And their culture is to be half dressed, you know, or whatever. You know how her culture was. But her behavior was off.
So she made millions off of exploiting her family.
No, she made millions off of it. Probably millions off of exploiting herself. Negatively, kind of.
Or family. I mean, she put everything on social media, right? You said she moved on social media. She, feeding the babies on social media.
Well, you know what? Yeah. You even on the breastfeeding, but both of them are exploiting their kids now. Because they got joint custody. So when he at her house, the kids are straight on social media.
So when you was coming up, when you was going through all the things that she's going through, potentially you didn't have social media. So you couldn't make money off exploiting your situation, because maybe if you was able to go on social media and show everything that happened to you, maybe you would have made money off of it, huh?
And then, not to mention the dynamic, because I this is my first time hearing about this, because I don't really keep up with social media like that. But you said it was a Nigerian African woman and a Caucasian and a white male, right? Mm-hmm. And we all know that white men or white folks don't play that disrespectful stuff. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to their
went along with it, but the parents, like you say, the parents probably got on and saying, she's an embarrassment to us.
Right, but that's one thing about the Caucasian male is but white males don't tolerate disrespect, right?
And she did go
and so, right, and her being and Nigerian African women are generally strong hustler type women,
right?
Because they have to be over there, right? And so. Yes. That's a dynamic right there that's kind of like was off key anyway. And then, of course, I feel like, and of course we already know, because this, I feel like black women, sort of say, are, I mean, I ain't gonna say I feel like, but they are the least desired women on the planet, right? Out of all the other race of women, because of the attitude, not because of how you look, but because of the attitude. And so, and then you take the toxicity, or you take the independence, or you take that and you take it to another race, and you try to treat them how you treat the black man, extremely disrespectful and so forth, and they ain't having that crap. The other races ain't having how a black woman would treat a black man. The other races aren't having that.
Now, for this person that I was talking about, a black man wouldn't have tolerated that behavior, period. He tolerated it from 18 to 22.
Okay.
And he said,
how old was he?
And he said he's 31, she's about 30, 32. They got 2 kids now. But he said the only way he could depart from her was to take it to social media and announce a divorce. That's the only way he felt that he could break away from her, is to put it out. And that's what gave him the strength to move on.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, we're gonna get ready to wrap this up. This has been a deep situation. But before we do this, we want to talk about some of the things that you got going on. Why don't you tell them about some of the things that you got coming up?
Well, like I said, I hope to get in the studio and maybe tonight. And start recording a song to this very music this very beat that's a gospel track to this beat right here. And two tracks I hope to be coming out with. So very soon. We had a week. And looking forward to these kids doing something.
And tell me your social media again.
Living the proof.
No doubt. Mr. Flowers, you want to tap in?
Well, the only thing I would kind of really, of course, let's have our Suntastic moment,
Absolutely.
right? And so last night I actually had witnessed something that was extremely radical and crazy, sad and depressing at the same time. I was literally on my way to Brickell, which is where the store is, and as soon as the train pulled up, a dude walked right in front of the train and committed suicide, right in front of me. And so, of course, it was extremely bothersome because I no longer, at that point, after I saw that, I was the one that went and got the police. And after I went and got them, I just went on home. I didn't even want to go anywhere after that. But I said that all to say this. And I remember when I was in the military that we used to get training at this time of year. These last 3 weeks of the year, well, now we're 2 weeks, but the last 3 weeks of the year is the most. It's the time of year that you get the most suicides out of all the other 12 months of the year.
Yes.
And so, for those of you that are feeling alone, those of you guys that are feeling depressed, you guys that are feeling abandoned or pressured or whatever the case is, going into the last 2 weeks of the year, going into 2023, and feel like giving up, don't give up. Your time is coming. And so you might be going through some pains. You might be going through whatever it is that you're going through. Don't give up. It's going to be okay. Your time is coming. And so everything happens for a reason and a season. And your season just hasn't come yet. And so I just don't want you guys to give up. Again, that was a very crazy situation because it happened right in front of me, but it also took me back to some family members, to some friends, to some colleagues and so forth that I've experienced in the military and through life. That there's nothing in life worth giving up for. There's always a door that's open. You just gotta find the door that belongs to you.
Is that the moment?
That's the moment, and that's your Suntastic moment for today. So happy Kwanzaa, happy Merry Christmas, happy New Year's, all that good stuff. Have a happy and wonderful holiday season.
Hold on, we guests want to say one last thing.
Yeah, you always have to keep the Lord at the head of your life. You know what I'm saying? And acknowledge Him in all you do. Okay? So I would just like to acknowledge Him right now. Just thank you, Lord, just for this right here. We just thank you for this moment. We thank you for everything you're doing. We ask you to look over these families and help us all, Lord Jesus. Help us all. Because we know somebody's grieving for their loved ones. Somebody didn't wake up. Somebody didn't go to sleep. So help us all, God. And we thank you for everything you do, did, and gonna do in our lives.
All right, y'all. Tap in, like, subscribe, and share. We out.
Peace.